I'm going to become a millionaire, in fact, and this is how I'm going to do it. Hello everybody, coming at you with all my might. It's Smite. How you guys doing today? Today we're out for a ride, my 2019 BMW s1000xr. We're going to take a ride out here to the little lake. It's a beautiful spring day. Hey, believe it or not, we actually got like 2 or 3 inches of snow yesterday morning and it all melted off, so we're left with a beautiful day for riding. So things have been actually pretty crazy over the last, I would say, since I switched jobs. I've went through an awakening, so to speak, and have more time to listen to different podcasts and really discover who I was as a person per se. And there's quite a few things that I wish I would have learned sooner, and we're going to go over them today. So stick around and we'll dive into some of the things that I wish I would have done earlier in my 20s. I say that as if I'm, you know, like really old, but I actually just turned 27, so... But believe it or not, I've realized what can actually happen over 5 years, let alone 1 to 2 years. There's just the significance of the passage of time. So one of my main goals is I want to become a millionaire. And I'm going to become a millionaire, in fact, and this is how I'm going to do it. So over the last few years, I have been listening to a lot of Graham Stephan and David Ramsey. Now, Dave Ramsey is more of the Christian approach, but they both share some core values, as in it's a long haul. You know, it's not a get rich quick. It's pretty boring, but extremely effective. So what I've actually done is you know, you can contribute $6 grand every year into a Roth IRA if you make under a certain threshold. And that's really one of the main ways that I'm gonna try to become a millionaire. But the most important thing is, you know, you gotta live below your means. But I went through some times where I was using the credit card, and this is where Dave Ramsey and Graham Stephan, they both, you know, they kind of butt heads, where Dave Ramsey says no credit card at all, and Graham Stephan says he uses debt as a tool. I'm kind of on the more of the Dave Ramsey side because of my Christian perspective, and that would be, you know, the borrower slave to the lender. So I don't really believe in debt. I want to get rid of all debt. Obviously I already had some and I had to get rid of it, and that's why I paid off all of my vehicles, all of my wife's student loans, and we are trying to get out from underneath the house loan. The more you live spending less than you make, you can invest more. And once you realize how fast time goes and just get into a consistent investing habit, and that's all it is building habits. So when I changed careers, I actually doubled my income. For the first like 3 years, I made crazy amount of money. It tapered down. It's still above what I used to make in my last job, but now I have better benefits and everything like that. But I was so used to living that, and you just gotta watch out for lifestyle creep, where you're, you know, spending a lot more money because you make a whole lot more money. And one of the ways I combat that is I have the ability to break down my checks before I even get them. So I have the house payment taken out of my check before I even get it. And in the same way, I just do that with my investments and everything. So I'm actually investing for match. Work gives me 5%. So I put 5%, so 10% of my income is getting invested in a thrift savings plan. I'm also doing $6,000 a year into my Roth IRA. But if you do the math, $6,000 a year is $500 a month. And Dave Ramsey preaches 15% of your income is what you should be putting away for retirement. Once again, I would suggest going to watch or listen to the podcast of Dave Ramsey and or Graham Stephan. Graham Stephan does YouTube. I don't know if he does podcasts. The more disposable income you have, the more you can put into investments, and the further you can reduce the time it takes to become a millionaire. And once you actually start seeing your investment portfolio grow, it's a great feeling. And I really really got an enjoyment off that. It's just developing good habits. A great example would be, I really would like a different car, but it's not practical for me to get a different car. Like, this bike is the most expensive thing that I own for vehicle. I did get a loan for my Zero, but I paid that off in 6 months. A 7-year loan in 6 months, not a bad gig. That's when I really started to get hit with the bug that I wanted to pay off everything. So right now I owe about $90,000 on my house, and I'm paying extra on that. And I just wish I would have realized sooner how much interest you end up paying. Like, it's astronomical. I'm paying like $4,000 a year in just interest. So my plan is actually to get that paid off within 5 years. I wanted to get it paid off before I turned 30, but that's another 3 years, and I'm not quite certain I will be able to do that. And that's one thing that Dave Ramsey teaches. Once you get all your consumer debt paid off, that you have to start saving for other things like kids' college, getting your mortgage paid off, and in other, just living life. So it turns from intense to intentional. So your intentional action is to get your mortgage paid off. You could be making double payments on your mortgage. It would be fantastic. I, on the other hand, am paying about an extra $500 in the principal, which still is a substantial chunk when you see that interest dropping. And actually understanding that it doesn't have to be complicated is a big key factor. I was under the impression that the stock market was literally like a casino and you just kind of bet on things, but that's not how it works. If you grab a mutual fund or an ETF of the whole market, you basically just throw it in there and it grows. It's boring. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it has proven quite successful over the years. So one step at a time and continuing on with no consumer debt, paying cash for what I want, and that's how I'm going to become a millionaire. Now, I still have a credit card, but I have never paid interest on it. And I will have to say that owning a credit card does make it easier to make purchases that you normally wouldn't make. So you do have to be careful. That's why Dave Ramsey says just get rid of them, because he got in trouble with them. And I think there are some responsible people out there that you can use credit cards, but you still will spend more money. It takes a lot of self-discipline, just like exercise. The future well-being and financial stability of your family all depends on being able to control your finances. And like Dave Ramsey said, he does want you to have nice things. He doesn't want nice things to have you. If you make $20,000 a year, you don't need a $50,000 car. So that's just a cold hard fact. So once I'm able to pay off my house, the possibilities are endless, because that just frees up a huge chunk of money that I could invest and then buy cash any vehicle I really wanted. So I'm really excited about that, and that's one of my goals. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and God bless. Thanks for watching.